Y'all, Hollywood's most beloved actors, the one and only Keanu Reeves is in some serious drama.
I'm 59, so I'm thinking about death all the time.
Still very young.
I'm young old. I mean, I think thinking about death is good.
Creepy. It's just such a fetishistic event.
Come on, you can't sign? Come on, kids, only two of us.
I mean, in general, you want to lead a private life.
You don't want to socialize, Mr.
What do you think happens when we die, Keanu Reeves?
I know that the ones who love us will miss us.
Now, y'all might be wondering, why are we talking about Keanu? Isn't everything going great for him? Well, hold on to your seats because things aren't always what they seem in Tinseltown. Our boy Keanu recently had fans reaching for the tissue box when he got all emotional during a tell-all live session. I'm talking raw, real, and vulnerable. The kind of stuff that makes you want to reach through the screen and give him a big ol' hug.
I'm 59, so I'm thinking about death all the time.
Still very young.
I'm young old. I mean, I think thinking about death is good.
Let's break it down, shall we? Keanu Reeves is like Hollywood royalty at this point. He's got more hit movies than I've got shoes. And trust me, I've got a lot of shoes. From The Matrix to John Wick, this man has been serving us action realness for decades. He's not just talented, he's the kind of guy you'd want as your BFF. Humble, kind, and cooler than a cucumber in a freezer. So when Keanu started getting all teary-eyed and talking about some heavy stuff, fans were shook. Like earthquake-level shook.
What happens to you if you don't do this?
Well, it's the end of the universe. It's the end of time and space continuum.
So
it's all over.
You're facing your own mortality and the mortality of all existence.
Yeah.
Now, I know you're all dying to know what's got our favorite action hero so down in the dumps. Well, buckle up, buttercups, because we're about to take a deep dive into Keanu's world and uncover why he's been brooding over some seriously dark topics.
What do you think happens when we die, Keanu Reeves?
I know that the ones who love us will miss us.
First things first, let's talk about Keanu's latest project. He's not just kicking butt on screen, he's flexing those writing muscles too. Keanu's got a new book out called The Book of Elsewhere. Now, before you start thinking it's all sunshine and rainbows, let me tell you, this book is darker than my coffee on a Monday morning. The story follows an immortal warrior who's on a mission to, wait for it, unalive himself. I know, right? Heavy stuff. But here's the kicker. When Keanu was asked about why he chose such a grim topic, he dropped a bombshell that had everyone's jaws on the floor. Our boy Keanu, at the ripe age of 59, confessed that he thinks about death all the time. Now hold up a minute. This is the same guy who's been living his best life, right? His John Wick movies are more successful than a lemonade stand in a heat wave. He's got award nominations coming out the wazoo. Heck, even his band Dogstar is killing it with their new album. So why is Keanu so fixated on the great beyond? Well, he says it's because he's getting older. But between you and me, I think there's more to this story than meets the eye. Now let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Hollywood might look all glitz and glamour on the surface, but underneath, it's got more dark secrets than a teenage diary. We've heard the horror stories from stars like Jim Caviezel, Monique Hicks, and Cat Williams. These celebs have spilled the tea on the nasty side of showbiz, and let me tell you, it ain't pretty.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time.
Speaking of Cat Williams, did y'all hear about him sleeping in body armor? I'm not kidding. His mentor, Jaguar Wright, spilled the beans about spending 9 months with Cat before things got real messy.
In that moment, Cat was still wearing Kevlar to bed. To bed. I would get in bed with him at night and he would have Kevlar on.
Now, I'm not saying Keanu's dealing with the same level of drama, but it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Our boy Keanu is known for keeping things on the down low. He's not the type to air his dirty laundry in public. Remember when Matthew Perry took a swipe at him in his book? Keanu didn't clap back or start a Twitter war. Nope, he kept it classy, as always. But here's the tea. Just because Keanu didn't make a fuss doesn't mean those words didn't sting. Sources say Perry's jab hit Keanu harder than a punch from John Wick. For someone who's already thinking about mortality, having someone wish you were unalive is about as cool as a hot sauce popsicle.
Woke actor Matthew Perry is going through the ringer recently with backlash after backlash ever since he name-dropped Keanu Reeves.
The backlash against Perry was so intense he had to backpedal faster than a cyclist going downhill. He claimed it was all a big mistake and that he's actually a huge Keanu fan. Sure, January now.
He apologized and said he was very sorry for it, but he also said that going forward, that those comments wouldn't be in the paperback edition, and that also they wouldn't be in the second edition of the book.
Now you might be thinking, surely Keanu's too tough to let this get to him, right? Well, remember, our boy might play the ultimate badass on screen, but in real life, he's got a heart softer than a marshmallow in hot cocoa.
You know, when you love something, you always have a little bit more.
But wait, there's more. This isn't the first time Hollywood's tried to knock Keanu down a peg or two. Let me take you back to the 90s, a time of boy bands, butterfly clips, and Keanu's breakout hit, Speed. The movie was a smash hit, raking in more cash than a Vegas slot machine. Naturally, the studio wanted a sequel, but Keanu, being the artiste that he is, took one look at the script and said, thanks, but no thanks. He thought the script was junkier than a scrapyard.
The problem was Keanu Reeves read the script for Speed 2 and he just told the director and the producers it was one of the worst screenplays he ever read in his life.
Big mistake. Huge. The studio didn't take kindly to Keanu's rejection. They slapped him with a 15-year ban faster than you can say action. Keanu found himself in Hollywood's naughty corner, struggling to find good roles.
The movie was a colossal failure, making only $164 million on a budget of $60 million, meaning it lost $80 million, and at the same time it only got a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes.
But here's the kicker. Keanu was right about Speed 2. The movie bombed harder than a comedian telling dad jokes at a teenager's party. Critics hated it. Audiences hated it. Probably even the popcorn at the theaters hated it. Did Hollywood admit Keanu was right? Of course not. Instead, they blamed him for not being in the movie. Talk about a lose-lose situation.
The Matrix changed my life, and then over these years, it's changed so many other people's lives.
But our boy Keanu isn't one to stay down for long. Just when things were looking bleaker than a rainy day in London, along came The Matrix. Boom, Keanu was back on top, dodging bullets and bending spoons like a boss. Everything was coming up Keanu, until tragedy struck. In 2001, Keanu's girlfriend of over a decade, Jennifer Syme, passed away in a car accident. This came right after the couple had lost their child. It was a double whammy that would knock anyone off their feet.
It's a sort of mythology that surrounds you, that you're sad. That, there's this whole sad Keanu thing, that you're someone who carries quite a lot of burdens around with you. And
now, I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but some folks out there think there might have been foul play involved in Jennifer's accident. The details are fishier than a sushi restaurant. How does someone run into 3 parked cars? It's got some people wondering if the Hollywood elite were up to no good.
Back in that moment, Kat was still wearing Kevlar to bed. To bed. I would get in bed with him at night and he would have Kevlar on.
Speaking of Hollywood's dark side, let's circle back to Cat Williams for a hot second. This man has been on a mission to expose the industry's dirty secrets, and honey, it hasn't been easy. He's been to jail more times than I've been to the mall, and that's saying something.
Walking away was hard, but it was when the Illuminati first started coming after him. And I'll never forget the day when they breached the house.
Kat's not alone in this fight. We've got Monique Hicks out here calling out big names like Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels. She's not afraid to ruffle some feathers, even if it means getting blacklisted. And let's not forget about Taraji P. Henson. She recently spilled some scalding hot tea about the working conditions on The Color Purple set. We're talking rental cars, no security, and having to ask for food for the cast. It's giving struggling indie film vibes, not major Hollywood production. Now, I'm not saying Keanu's going through the exact same struggles, but it paints a picture of what life can be like for even the biggest stars in Hollywood. It's no wonder our boy's been feeling a little blue. But don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom in Keanu's world. He's found love again with visual artist Alexandra Grant. These two are more private than a secret government facility, but insiders say their love is stronger than industrial strength glue. So, what's the moral of this Hollywood fairy tale? Well, it's complicated, just like any good story. Keanu Reeves might seem like he's got it all, the fame, the fortune, the fabulous hair, but even our favorite stars have their demons. From battling Hollywood blacklists to dealing with unimaginable personal tragedies, Keanu's been through the ringer. But you know what? He's still standing, still making awesome movies, and still being the sweetest guy in Tinseltown. His recent emotional moments and his new book might be dark, but they're also brave. Keanu's opening up about the tough stuff, the kind of things most people, let alone celebrities, keep buried deeper than a time capsule. By talking about death, loss, and the darker side of fame, Keanu's shining a light on issues that affect us all. He's reminding us that it's okay to not be okay sometimes, even when you're a big-shot movie star. And let's be real, in a world where everything on social media is filtered to perfection, isn't it refreshing to see someone being honest about life's struggles? Keanu's vulnerability is more powerful than any action scene he's ever filmed. So, the next time you see Keanu kicking butt on screen, remember, behind that tough exterior is a guy who's faced his fair share of battles, both on and off camera. He's not just an action hero, he's a real-life survivor. And who knows, maybe by opening up about his own struggles, Keanu's helping to make Hollywood a little bit safer, a little bit kinder, and a little bit more real for the next generation of stars. So here's to you, Keanu Reeves, for being being real, for being resilient, and for reminding us all that even our heroes have their dark days. Keep fighting the good fight and know that your fans have got your back. Well, that's all the tea I've got for you today, besties. Remember, life might not always be a Hollywood ending, but with a little love, a little courage, and a whole lot of Keanu Reeves energy, we can all be the stars of our own stories. Until next time, this is Hot Gossip signing off. Stay fabulous, stay curious, and remember, in Hollywood and in life, the plot twists are what make the story interesting. Goodbye.